In recent history, a new track has been added to the iRacing sim in almost every major build. In the 2023 Season 2 build, iRacing brought us the magnificent Circuito de Jerez. It's always exciting as we prepare to learn a circuit for the first time or revisit a favourite from another racing title we have previously played. But I don't think I've been this excited for a new track to come into the sim for a very long time. Located in southern Spain in the province of Cadiz, Jerez has operated since 1986 and quickly became one of the world's most popular tracks for racing and testing. Weighing in at just 4.4 kilometers long and 15 turns, most people know the circuit as the home of the Spanish MotoGP Grand Prix. The circuit also has a rich history within Formula 1 as well, most notably being the arena for the classic 1997 championship decider, which featured not only a three-way tie for pole position, but also Michael Schumacher's most famous racecraft blunder, where he definitely did not try and take out Jacques Villeneuve. The circuit only features two layouts for iRacers to try out, the only difference being the tight and sometimes awkward final chicane at the end of the lap, which was used by Formula 1 in the years that winter testing and the Grand Prix took place at the venue. The other layout is named the Moto layout, and I'm sure you can connect the dots as to why it received that name. That layout is in my eyes a little more fun as you get the really high speed run into the final corners. Graphically, the circuit is fantastic, with iRacing stopping at nothing to replicate the course in exceptional detail. Sadly though, this does come at a significant frames per second hit, with my 2080 Ti graphics card struggling significantly at the circuit on high graphics to maintain a respectable frame rate. So for those of you with lower end computers, this may be something to factor into your equation when thinking about buying the circuit. In terms of the flow of the circuit, it suits a wide range of cars very well. You won't be restricted at this circuit for choice, as everything from MX-5s and Toyota GR86s all the way up to full-on Le Mans prototypes and open-wheel Grand Prix cars will all feel at home at the circuit. The track has a wide enough track width, so multi-class shouldn't be too much of an issue either, and even if it does get a bit hectic, the circuit features a sparse amount of tarmac runoff before you will ever find a gravel trap. One of the stranger points to mention about this circuit though is a contradiction to comments made about the real-world course. One of the most significant enjoyment factors of the circuit for MotoGP riders, and one of the reasons for its use as a winter testing venue for Formula 1, was that Jerez featured a very low abrasion tarmac, with riders and drivers alike having much lower than usual tyre wear. On iRacing, however, in a league race I competed in, I found that tyre wear was the worst of the season, very poor compared to previous rounds. Some friends of mine had reported similar in their official race as well, which took place in an entirely different car class, so there's something going on here. Starting a lap at Jerez, you blast your way underneath the unique VIP box, which is often dubbed the UFO and has a capacity for 120 fans to overlook the circuit. Blasting your way into turn 1, you can open up the corner quite a lot by staying to the far left of the circuit and using the painted tarmac on your approach. The curb here can be an excellent brake marker for most cars, as the vehicle will slow down quicker than usual due to a slightly uphill braking zone. A lot of the course uses these very smooth sawtooth curbs, so feel free to use these everywhere around the circuit as they shouldn't upset the car balance. Besides that though, turn 1 is a tight to the 90 degrees right-hander with no significant challenges, so it's a nice simple start to the lap. Turn 2, however, Michelin Corner, is Jerez's first true challenge, as you now brake on a slight downhill into a very slow right-hander, which sets you up for a high-speed section, so there's a lot to factor into your corner approach here. Strip the corner back to basics and focus on slow in, fast out, and keep the car as tight as possible to the inside of the corner on entry. The corner's banked, so make sure you use all of that. Use the green AstroTurf on the inside of the corner as a reference for when you should be hugging the apex, and be cautious not to get trigger happy with the accelerator out of this deceptively slow corner. Turn 3 is a breeze in comparison. Take in the sights of the pretty palm trees beside the circuit and prepare yourself for the high-speed left-hander coming up next at turn 4. Once again, ensure you maximize the track's width by drifting out onto the curb on the approach for turn 4, but don't drift too far over the white line, as the car's center line cannot cross the curb or you'll face an off-track incident point. In a car with downforce, this corner should be flat out, but in many GT cars, be prepared to lift off and even breathe onto the brake a little bit to ensure you can make it through the corner. In some mid-engine cars, this corner will expose the car's instability if you get your pedal inputs wrong, so a smooth operator is required here. A gravel trap lines the circuit nearby, so any misjudgments here can significantly affect your race, so be careful not to drift out too wide. Turn 5 is universally dubbed the Pseudo-Pons corner, while I much prefer to call the corner the where the bloody hell is my brake marker. Good luck finding one, it more than likely doesn't exist here. This is a corner that loves to catch out drivers on their first laps of Jerez, and it is very inviting to carry a lot of corner speed into this corner before you realise that it's far tighter than it seems at first glance. Carry the corner speed if possible while trail braking the car to the apex and gently applying the accelerator afterwards. I say use it gently because during this corner you will go over a slight crest. It's not bad enough to unsettle the car too badly on most laps, but if the tyres are overheated or worn enough, the crest could become somewhere for the vehicle to light up in a high-speed wheel spin, so it's worth being aware of. You finally get a breather now as you blast down a short straight. While accelerating up to speeds of excess of 280 km an hour, this can be a great time to reflect on who you want to become as a driver in your sim racing future. Although I don't recommend looking up to Michael Schumacher too much, as Dreisaitl corner is up next. Turn 6. This is the best overtaking spot on the circuit, so be prepared to get your elbows out through this corner. A heavy braking zone on entry which cars without ABS will love to lock up into. The front right tyre hasn't been worked too hard so far in the lap, so it will have dropped in temperature slightly. This is where that could come to bite you if you jump on the brakes too abruptly. Abuse the track limits on entry to the corner to give yourself the best chance of survival, and like turn 2, you can use the green AstroTurf on the inside as a reference for when you should be hugging the inside of the corner, which is further aided by the corner having a very slight amount of banking to it. Turn 7 is a bit of a nothing corner, but turn 8 is anything but. Aspar corner is a fast, long left-hander taken in 4th gear that will have the car struggling to grip the tarmac. The car is loaded up through the corner for a very long time, so expect the car to not be very compliant by the time you reach the corner's end. Finding both a brake marker and a turn-in marker is very difficult here, so take it easy initially and take the time to build up over your first few laps until you get a better sense of the corner. Track limits are pretty strict here on entry and exit, so factor this into how brave you want to be on a qualifying lap as well. Turn 9, Angel Nieto corner, and turn 10, Paloke corner, is theoretically taken as one long sweeping corner. It's straightforward to lock the inside front tyre coming into turn 9 with a significant change in direction coming out of the Aspar corner. A very gentle touch is needed in this section of corners, and patience will be critical here as you play with the throttle the entire time, barely getting to full throttle between the two corners before lifting off once more to ensure you have the right amount of speed for turn 10. Turns 11, 12, 13 and 14 come at you in quick succession, and it all starts at this clunky chicane. Spotting a brake marker can be difficult again with few references to use. Beyond the concrete wall to your right and a few speaker poles to your left, you're playing a guessing game with this corner. Keep the car very tight to the right through the right-handed part of the chicane, smashing the inside sausage curb that will cause the vehicle to bounce slightly, but for now, you've got to ignore that. Get the car settled and quickly turn the car to the left for the second part of this chicane. How much downforce the car has will dictate your line through this second part of the corner, as you need to be on full throttle out of this section all the way to the final corner. So if you have lots of downforce, you can exit the left-handed part of the chicane in the middle of the road and should still comfortably be able to take turn 13 flat out. If the car has less downforce, you may need to sacrifice the left-hander of the chicane slightly to open up turn 13. The final corner is next, named after the Spanish MotoGP World Champion Jorge Lorenzo. This corner is brutal for inside front locking as the track is banked quite steep in comparison to the rest of the circuit, but the inside of the corner drops away quite quickly, meaning the inside front left tyre gets a little bit unloaded right at the most critical phase of the braking zone. turn the car into the corner earlier than usual to maximize the banking, and hold the car nice and tight to the inside curb, just waiting to spot your reference to get back onto the throttle and finish a lap here at the Circuito de Jerez. Jerez is a fantastic addition to the iRacing simulator. I would happily recommend that all iRacers pay the $14.95 this track costs. It may only have two virtually identical layouts, but it is a fantastic venue for racing. I've already done a league race here, and race 2 had one of the best battles I've had in a long time, so I can vouch for the quality of racing you get around this circuit. We're a long way away from getting a MotoGP bike on iRacing, but honestly, you don't need a MotoGP bike to enjoy this venue. That's all from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and whilst I'm going to wrap up here, I'll leave you guys with my pole position lap in the AOG Porsche Cup from a couple of weeks ago.